What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good. So we are back today. I'm going to go over a few important bits of information before the markets open up tomorrow. So right now, in case you guys don't know, we got a crazy rally going on, right? The Dow Jones futures bug stock market rally awaits Tesla earnings. So that's a key factor. This week, the earnings for Tesla are going to come out. And also, we're going to have some more bug cure news. I think I'm allowed to say that. So we might have some potential cure for the bug, and that's something that's going to come out this week. So the Dow futures won't open until Sunday evening. Right now it's about Sunday evening, along with S&P 500 futures and NASDAQ futures. Once we get more data, I'll push it out on Twitter so you guys can see it, and I'll leave the link in the description in case you want to follow me on Twitter. It's a big week for the bug stock market rally with earnings from Tesla, Microsoft, Chipotle, Intel. AstraZeneca is expected to release data on its experimental bug cure, which is further along than bug 19 candidates from Moderna. So Tesla, Microsoft, Chipotle, Intel, their earnings will be coming out, and that's going to play a big part because right now Tesla is crushing it. If you guys have Tesla stock, let me know in the comments below. I got some, but I really would have liked to have gotten more. So that's the one thing. If I could have gone back, I would have done more Tesla. Why? Because of Elon Musk. Alright, let's continue here. Okay, last week the bug stock market rally started off with wild action, then they calmed down. There were some sector rotations in home builder, finance, industrial, and other real economy stocks. Growth stocks, notably high-flying cloud software names, suffered damage but generally support at near key levels. So going forward, last bit from this, well, actually not last bit, last paragraph here. Going forward, Tesla faces increasing electric vehicle competition from Volkswagen, Ford Motor, and a slew of other traditional automakers and EV startups. That's a good point too. So more and more companies are going to be transitioning to do more of this EV electric vehicle transition because people really like that stuff, and that's where we're probably headed. Also, NIO and Nikola, they're also starting to get their company up and going, and that could potentially be competition for Tesla. We're going to have to wait and see, but Tesla, they got Elon Musk. I mean, what else do you got to say? They got Elon Musk. I mean, the man's a genius. He's working like crazy, and he's making sure that company is continuing to go forward. So I trust Elon Musk. Microsoft has pulled back to key technical levels. Chipotle is in the buy range, as the burrito eatery has fared very well during the bug, which is true. If you guys go to Chipotle, it's always packed. People still like their Chipotle, and they've done a lot to try to do what they can to limit touching and being safe. So Chipotle is doing really well. Tesla stock, Microsoft, Chipotle, they're all on the IBD leaderboard, which this is something I'd like to check out. I have not checked this out. Microsoft stock is on the IBD long-term leaders. Both Microsoft and Intel are on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The bug cases are still out of control. Also, we got Pfizer and BioNTech also had big gains after the FDA gave a fast-track designation to 2 of the bug cures. Alright, and let's continue. Alright guys, so as we're continuing here, as you can see, U.S. stock market today overview, the Dow Jones negative 63.23% change, S&P 500 0.29 up, NASDAQ is up, Russell's up. So for the most part, they are up. Now, the main thing we have to look out for in the upcoming week is Tesla's earnings. Tesla earnings are due late Wednesday, so make sure you put that on your calendar. Wednesday, that's a day that it's going to be pretty important in terms of what Tesla does, and then everything else in the market. Some things are going to be affected, so keep your eye on for Thursday. Analysts officially expect a loss of 47 cents a share versus a loss of $1.12 a share versus a year earlier. Revenue should tumble 21% to $5 billion. Tesla now has the Shanghai plant, but the Fremont plant was shut down for 8 weeks. So based off what they're saying here, it'll be interesting to see how much it drops, because right now the stock is going crazy. However, there's strong sentiment among Tesla stock bulls and bears that Tesla will deliver a profit. CEO Elon Musk, everybody knows Elon Musk, scoped to report Tesla earnings by recognizing more emission credits and full self-driving revenue. Now, here's a chart as you guys can see. So right now it's at 1500, which is insane. Last year it was, let's see here, in the low 300s. And people were thinking, oh, it's going to drop to 100. But look, it just kept going up. And then it had a minor correction here in mid-March, where it was a low of right under 400. And since then, it's just been continually going up. And right now, depending on what happens Wednesday, this could go up or it could go down. They're saying it's going to go down, but we'll see how much. Maybe it won't drop too much. Even though the revenue is down, the sentiment will still be high. So this thing could still be relatively stable. However, the one key thing is that other EV stocks are starting to come into fruition. NIO and Nikola both are slipping right now. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects Tesla. If other companies are stepping in to try to take some of Tesla's shares, we're going to have to find out on Wednesday. Wednesday's a big day, guys. All right, I can't reiterate that enough. Wednesday, put it on your calendar, and we'll see what we can expect at that point. Microsoft earnings as well. Microsoft earnings also are late Wednesday. Wall Street expects Microsoft earnings to rise 1% to 1.38 a share, with revenue up 8% to 36.49 billion. Cloud computing services and other cloud revenue likely will drive Microsoft gains once again. I don't use cloud services personally, but if you guys do, can you let me know in the comments below if it's worth it? What's your experience with it? Because in general, I just haven't used it too much. Microsoft earnings and guidance will be important for other software companies, cloud rival Amazon, and video game publishers. Alright, so that's what we got right now. That's what we got looking forward to in the upcoming week. And here you go, breaking. Dow stocks closed mixed, but Dow ends week 2.3% higher. U.S. markets, like I just said, and here on CNBC, U.S. markets kind of confirms, for the most part, it's been pretty stable. It hasn't gone down too much, the markets. Now, here's something interesting. Let's change gears real quick. So new polls are showing that Joe Biden winning suburbanites by a historic margin. This is from CNN Politics. And obviously, we know CNN, they're more left-leaning, and they don't really have a favorable view of Trump. So let's keep that in mind. Now, it says here, he leads Donald Trump 55% to 40% among voters. Biden is up 52 to 43 among suburban voters. Other polls last month show Biden in as good as even better position among suburban voters. University shows Biden 60% to 35, 56 to 34 with suburbans. In the average of all polls, Biden is ahead by 15 points. This is a historic margin if it holds. Now, one thing to keep in mind here. So here you go. So they do mention this. Biden's lead in the suburbs is reflective of him doing significantly better than Hillary Clinton. 4 years ago at this time, Trump was beating Clinton by a 45 to 35% margin in the polls among the suburban voters. In other words, we're looking at nearly 20-point improvement for Biden versus where Clinton was at this point in the 2016 campaign. Now, depending on which polls you look at, if you guys recall, there were polls that had Hillary winning. She was ahead basically for the most part. It was across the board. And then next thing you know, the biggest upset of the century happens and Trump wins. Depending on how you want to look at it, that's just a fact. So he won. So it says here, winning Democratic candidates tend to do better in the suburbs, though none as much as any other polls currently have Biden ahead in them. Back in 2008, the best year for Democrats this century, Obama won in the suburbs by 2 points in exit polls. So Obama did pretty well with what he was doing back in his day. It's crazy. It's been almost 10 years since, well, not 10 years, but 10 years since he was first elected, not 10 years since he was in office. He recently left office about 4 years ago, but since his first election in 2008, it's crazy. Now let's go on over here. So we want to make sure we get more sources. CNBC as well. President Trump won't agree to accept 2020 election results as Biden leads in polls. I have to see. Now here's our key points. President Trump declined Sunday to say he would accept the results of the 2020 election. During the interview, Wallace debuted the result of Fox News' latest national polls, which showed the presumptive Democratic nominee, Joe Biden, leading Trump by 8%. First of all, I'm not losing because those are fake polls, Trump said. They were fake in 2016, and they're even more fake now. So CNBC also saying that Biden is ahead, and Trump saying he's not going to accept. I got a direct quote, so this is not fake news. This is directly what he's saying. Now, He declined Sunday to say if he would accept the results of the 2020 election, saying he'd have to see and claim without evidence that mail-in voting will rig the election. So that's going to be interesting too. This whole mail-in election thing, I have no idea how it's going to play out, but it's going to be fun to see if what he's saying comes to fruition or if he's just exaggerating it. We're going to have to wait and see. Now, Trump's comments came during a wide-range interview with Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace, in which he criticized so-called cancel culture and repeatedly downplayed the bug, which has affected more than 3.7 million people and has caused the death of at least 140,000. And to reiterate, Trump has said, first of all, I'm not losing because those polls are fake. They were fake in 2016 and they're even more fake now. I have to see. Look, I have to see, he said. No, I'm not going to just say yes. I'm not going to say no. So we're going to have to take his word at this point. The U.S. has reported on average 66,000 new cases per day over the past 7 days, up more than 15% compared with a week ago. No country has ever done what we've done in terms of testing. We are the envy of the world, Trump said. You look at other countries, they don't even do tests. They do test if somebody walks into the hospital. Okay? So Democrats are purposely keeping their schools closed, keeping their states closed. He said we're not allowed to have rallies in these Democratic-run states. Interesting. Yeah, the whole school is being shut down. We're going to have to see if that becomes a state issue or a federal thing. It'll be interesting because all these schools, they get federal funding. Some of it gets state funding. This is from the slate.com. Biden leads Trump by 15 points nationally, and that's a nice picture right there. You can tell he's disgusted. The polls show that despite the positive numbers for Biden, the former vice president still faces severe, clear risks, namely those that there's a significant lack of enthusiasm for his candidacy. So among Biden supporters, this is important, guys, 67% say they are defeating the president, that defeating the president is the most important thing in winning the election, while 72% of Trump's voters say they can see re-electing the president as the most important thing. Things that we got to keep in mind. Washington Post poll released Sunday is the fifth consecutive high-quality national poll, shows Biden ahead by 10 points. So it's not looking good for Trump, guys. If you guys want Trump to win, it's not looking good based on these polls, but the validity of these polls has definitely been something to keep an eye on. Biden leads nationally over Trump. This is from the Washington Post. And obviously the Washington Post doesn't have a very favorable light for Trump as well. They tend to be more left-leaning. And they're saying as well, Biden leads Trump 55-40. So multiple sources are saying that Biden is leading, although it doesn't mean that it's necessarily true, but just something to think about. If Biden does win, though, the markets are probably going to react accordingly, and they're probably going to dip strongly if there's more regulations and all that stuff that gets passed, so that could affect your portfolio going forward. Now, let's switch gears really quick, and then I'm going to wrap this video up for you guys. I know it's Sunday, it's late, but I got to put something out there so you guys can see what we got to keep an eye on the next couple weeks, and election season is right around the corner. Dr. Fauci, everyone's favorite doctor, who we haven't seen as much as before. Fauci holds up New York as a model for fighting the bug. They did it correctly. That's very interesting because New York has a lot of cases. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director Anthony Fauci on Friday praised New York for its handling of the bug, saying the state did it correctly. We know that when you do it properly, you bring down those cases. We have done it. We have done it in New York. Governor Andrew Cuomo instituted some of the strictest reopening requirements in the country, insisting that stay-at-home orders remain in place and many businesses remain closed far longer than other states. Okay, that's very interesting that New York apparently is doing better according to this article here, and Dr. Fauci is praising New York. So let's see what this is all about. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's wrong. We got to do some more research. New York was once the epicenter of outbreaks in the U.S. With more than 10,000 new cases a day during its peak in April, the state has dramatically reduced new infections to 776. As of Thursday, New York is one of 9 states in the U.S. that has the virus under control. According to the tracking project, you can see here the Bug Act now. Less than 1% of New Yorkers tested for the virus were positive Thursday, down from a high of more than 30%. 40%, my bad. Apparently they're saying Cuomo had the strictest reopening requirements in the country, and stay-at-home orders remain in place as many businesses remain closed far longer than states that are now seeing surges such as Texas and Florida. If you guys are in Texas or Florida, let me know in the comments below what you guys are seeing. How is the lockdowns? Are there lockdowns? Are they affecting when you go shopping? Can you eat in? Because some places you can eat in, some places you can't, so it's kind of unclear with what you really can and can't do right now. There's a whole lot of questions that nobody really knows what's going on, and every day things are changing. More than 400,000 New Yorkers have been affected by the bug. Since the issue began, at least 32,463 people have died in the state. New York is scheduled to enter phase 4 on Monday. So here's what's interesting, guys. The next stage of reopening allows outdoor activities like zoos, outdoor films, and gardens. Indoor restaurants, bars, museums, and malls will remain closed, Cuomo said. What about gyms? They didn't mention gyms. Gyms are important. People need to work out and get their frustration and anger out somewhere in a constructive way. Gyms are good. I'm so proud of what New Yorkers have done, but we must continue to be on alert. Last week, Florida reported more than 15,000 new cases, more than New York during the peak of its outbreak. Stay away from crowds. Close the bars, Fauci said. You appeal to the people in the local areas. Close those bars. They are seriously one of the major reasons why we're seeing the surge. And I think if we do that for a couple of weeks in a row, he continued, I think we're going to see a turnaround because we know that works. So that's what we got from Dr. Fauci. And the last thing, Ohio heading into the wrong direction and could become Florida as the bug surges. Governor warns about 60% of Ohio is under a mask ordinance as the state's total number of cases pushed past 73,000 as of Saturday. So Ohio, their rates are going up. Florida, Texas, I know California shut down again. Now, what does this mean for the markets in the upcoming days and week? This is going to sound weird, but they're going to probably go up again. Because every time we have some type of negative sentiment about places being shut down, Fauci saying that things aren't going right, next thing you know, the market surges. So there's a whole lot of uncertainty with what's going to happen at the moment. However, depending on if there's an update in terms of the vaccine, if the trials with that go well, who knows, the sentiment could be strong, they could go up. But the one thing that's going to be interesting is the polls. If the polls continually show Biden is going to win or he's likely to win, are people going to pull out the market thinking that Biden's going to have more regulations and therefore the market will drop? So there's a lot of different angles you got to look at and assess what you think is going to happen. Do more research. This is just kind of an idea so you guys can look at what angle you want to explore more. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of the video. As always, if you're not subscribed, don't subscribe. And if you like the video, don't forget to give it a like. Until next time, peace.